What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Dead Pulse Theory. We got the introduction video out of the way for you guys. Now it is time to get down to the nitty-gritty here. This is going to be our first official episode, our pilot episode for our weekly series that we're going to be coming out with on a weekly basis. It's going to be probably midweek uploads for you guys. We're going to plan on shooting these videos towards the end of each week and then getting them edited and up to you guys midweek, like Wednesday, Thursday-ish, probably aiming for Wednesdays. But as we discussed in our introductory video, we have 3 topics that we're going to be discussing, and they can be a huge, wide range of topics. And we have 3 really good ones that we've been discussing that we want to get out to you guys for our first ever. We're going to be naming these kind of like numbered series, so it'll be DPT, standing for Dead Pulse Theory. And this will be the number 1 episode here. So starting out with our number 1 episode, we wanted to start out with...
This will set the tone.
This will set the tone of how this show is going to... How it's going to be. And it's a good mix of stuff that we got here. And you can tell by the topics. It's kind of a random transition of things that we're going for, but that's the kind of discussions that we have, and that's what we wanted to get out to you guys. So our first one that we're going to be talking about is one that whenever we first had this concept of this show, right, is something that I really wanted to get to, which is social media and really the effects and the misusage, and what was the other word that we had for it? The social media,
just the harmful effects on your mental health, really.
True, and how it really affects a lot of people. The one thing that I always get out of this, and I think with how things are going nowadays with Facebook, and you got Twitter, and all the Instagram and all the tons, there literally are thousands of different social media platforms that you really have, all starting back, the mid 2000s. You had, MySpace and things like that, and advancing to Facebook, obviously, now, which is the number 1 thing when it comes to social media. But you have so many different connections. You have like the Snapchats and the Instagrams where it's pictures and things like that. But even YouTube, right here on YouTube, is a social media platform. I have never been a huge social media user. This is going to be a really good discussion because Ryan, or Mr. Jarvis, sorry, I have to get the name right. Jarvis has definitely had more usage and history with it than I have. I've never had a Facebook. I didn't have a fucking MySpace back in the day. Literally all I have is YouTube here, which is what we did and have been doing for years, and a Snapchat. That's literally all I have. But one of the big things to me that always gets to me is the idea of how social media can be used to connect with people, because it is a great way to connect with people, with family members, old friends, whatever the case may be. But people use it, they mishandle how it is. They use it as a way to enhance themselves into something that they're not. They use it to portray themselves into this being that isn't even how they actually are, and how it affects other people, because it's a status type thing. It is very much a status type thing when it comes to people on social media platforms, where it's, they have to be better than this person or better than that, or, oh, I saw them doing that, well, I have to show you what I'm doing because it's so much better. And how it affects people, and really younger people, I think is what really gets to me the most, is the amount of harm it's doing to people. I mean, it is amazing. The you hear almost on a daily basis of some social media posting about, these kids that were in high school or in middle school or even elementary school or something crazy. These kids are so young, they're using this stuff that should not even be close to anything like this, because they're just so misguided in what they think is right and wrong. And the harms that it has on these kids and how it affects them. And I mean, there's kids that are taking their own lives over, some bully that's talking bad about it, oh, the shirt you wear or this or that, or the people you hang out with. And these kids are taking their lives over this. And it's just, it's devastating to honestly see some of the effects that it has on people. And I mean, there's so many countless other things, but it's always something that I see and I'm like, man, that is just ridiculous. That something that minute and that small can have such a big effect on people. And it does. I mean, it's, the pressure of being a young adult and the pressure of growing up in this day and age is as hard as any age that I could possibly think of.
Yeah, it's just different. It's different. It's different than it was 100 years ago or 50 years ago. The issues they dealt with were different. Back then it was technological issues, things that, technology makes our life so much simpler, but at the same time, it makes certain things more difficult.
True.
A lot of it goes to people with cell phones and being on social media, like at work and stuff. I've been guilty of this for forever. Like up until about a year ago, I was on social media all the time, but I'm a definitely deeply creative-minded person, and I always had thoughts about things I wanted to express, things that were going on in the world. I'd post things on Facebook. I didn't really care as much about the likes as much as I cared about the interactions with talking to people who agreed or disagreed and having conversations.
Have an opinion on it.
Having opinions about things. But I just slowly started. It was right around the time of the election with the Trump. That was stuff with Trump and Hillary Clinton and all that stuff on social media.
Right.
Where I was just like, man, this is overwhelming. Like people are legitimately like defriending people that they've been friends with for 15 years because of social media stuff, like politically and just how driven it is on that end of the spectrum. But also you have each social media like platform has a different setup for everyone. Like the Twitter is cancerous because it's just people that are angry and they're like trolling, and you follow a lot of famous people, and it's false idling, and it's a lot of that with Twitter. Don't get me wrong, I love a good troll every now and again because it's funny. Some of that stuff's funny, and memes are funny, and that's just the day and age we live in. Then you have stuff like Instagram, which is just one of my least favorite things about social media in general, which is like status, pretending to be someone you're not. Social media is not real life. I swear to you, I knew people like for years, people I went to high school with, like, and they just post like stuff on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that.
And it's not who they are.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this isn't real life. Like this isn't real life. I know you as a person, or I knew you as a person. Don't get me wrong, people change.
True.
People do change,
True.
But I mean, a lot of it's status, and a lot of it is how many likes can I get, and how many, it's crazy. And then you have Facebook, which is just I don't want to say it's the worst of all, but that was where my platform was mostly been over the last probably 5 years. I dedicated a lot of time to Facebook. I just seen how like harmful it was to myself. I wasn't able to focus when I really needed to focus about things. I couldn't pay attention sometimes. I couldn't have a conversation with anybody because I was on my phone all the time. I was interacting with people in the cyber world, but not in the real world, Right. And over the 4 years prior, or 4 or 5 years prior, I've had some of the best conversations with people. What I mean is over the last year, I've had some of the best conversations in person with people.
Right.
Because I haven't been connected to social media.
Right.
And it's just how it is. Like it goes down to also dating and stuff as well. People dating on the internet.
Man.
It's the worst. Like stuff like Tinder, that stuff is, I don't know if I would consider that completely social media, but like that's
it's accessing out in the cyber world.
Right.
Which is interacting with social media.
Well, that's the thing when people try to be like, I can't find a good woman, or I can't find a good man. Like, don't use Tinder.
Right.
Like I've used Tinder before, and it's literal internet cancer.
Yeah.
It's awful. Like you get people who are going to troll you. You get people who just want sex. You'll get people who don't know what to do. Like you'll try to have a conversation with someone, and then like
they don't even know how to function in real life.
Yeah. Like I've talked to multiple people on there, and it never went sexual or anything, but it would get to a point where like, hey, would you want to go get a coffee and have a conversation like in person? And they'd be like, yeah, sure. And then I'd get canceled on multiple times. Yeah. I'm just like, do people know how to just sit and have a conversation like in person? Like, is that a thing anymore?
Another big problem is nowadays is this generation growing up through, the social media age and things like that. They don't know any different. They think this is the norm.
Well, I have a 12-year-old brother, and he's so technologically advanced. Like at 12 years old, and here's the thing, like. If we're not just talking about social media, which I mean is the main topic, but we're just talking about like having the internet in the palm of your hand at all times. Like he just knows things that I can't believe he knows. Like at my age, and I'm not even meaning like bad things. I just like months ago, he was sitting on his phone watching YouTube. He was watching a documentary about Alaskan pipelines. He's 12 years old. Like, it's just like, what? That's random.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it just a bunch of stuff. Our lawnmower went out a year ago, and he was like researching the best lawnmowers on his cell phone. I'm just like, he's just trying to find the best cell phone, or trying to find the best lawnmower.
There is, and that's the thin line that it plays is.
Right.
Is there is a good side of it. There is it's for this, for instance, for YouTube, to be able to connect with people in this form or fashion, the people that use a Facebook the proper way, I feel, which is connecting with people and not using it as a status type deal, or not using it to go on there and just completely obliterate somebody's life.
Yeah.
And have not know the effects that it's going to have to somebody else. Which,
for sure.
Which you had back in school, people would bully people or whatever, but now it's taken to another level with cyberbullying, and it connects everybody that all those people know into one area to just judge or place blame or everything on that person.
That goes to what you're saying about addiction, like addiction to the internet, to social media, like specifically, one of the things you're talking about cyberbullying. One of the things that people talk about all the time is, okay, if you're being cyberbullied, get off your computer.
Right.
Don't go on social media.
True.
Like, it's not like, for some people, it's not that easy to just be like, no.
I think it's the fact that a lot of those people out there bring into effect that everybody else knows it.
Right.
It's literally like that episode of Black Mirror that I was just talking about that we watched, which is a genius show that talks about the I don't even know the word, but the usage of technology and things like that, and the negative effects on it.
How harmful it can be, yeah.
Yeah, and how harmful it can be to people. And I feel like everybody, even though you can say, okay, I'm going to get off there, everybody knows. Everybody has laser focus on that issue, whether it be the cyberbullying or people placing something on that individual or whatever. Even if you get off of it, it's out there for the whole world to see.
Right. Well, the issue for me with social media was never status, was never likes or anything like that. It was not that kind of thing where I wasn't trying to get like dopamine hits off of being on social media. You know what I mean? That's what people want. They want to be liked, and they want people to like their image of what they portray.
True.
For me, the biggest thing was I'm a pretty social person, and I like talking to people, and I like connecting with people that have the same opinions and differing opinions, and I just like to talk about things. And staying out, like being able to not being in the loop, like that to me was one of the hardest things. Was someone would say something and be like, yo, did you over the last year at least, yo, did you hear about the thing that's going on with so and so, or this thing that's going on over with the president, or with this or that or whatever, and blah blah blah. Like, did you see that meme? I'm just like, no. Like, I haven't seen it, because I went from probably for about 6 months not using anything but really Snapchat. And then over the last couple months, I started using Twitter more. I usually just follow it mostly for music, for sporting stuff, for wrestling, things like that, to stay in the loop. I just recently got a girlfriend, and she's on Facebook, and she, that's, people like to post pictures and tag each other and things.
Right.
So like I'm on Facebook again, but I'm not on all day. I'll check my notifications. I'll maybe scroll for 5 minutes, and then I'm done. Like, I understand that it's just, if I get sucked into that world again, you're not doing anything. And the loop thing was the hardest thing for me, obviously, because not knowing, like, the fear of missing out on something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I can find, if I really want to know something, I can just look it up. I don't have to be scrolling all day long or whatever. You know what I mean? So, to me, that's the hardest thing. Was the hardest thing was being out of the loop with things. And you've never been on social media, like,
right? And I mean, I would find a way to stay, like, whether it be with wrestling or sports or things like that. It's always been a thing to me, is like, there's always been a way. Especially, I mean, it's not like we were so technologically, like, at a disadvantage before all of these social media sites came out. There was outlets to find these things. There was outlets to be able to, look up certain news things or sports things or whatever it may be. There were still things to do that. And that's the kind of stuff that I would stick to. I would look up a website or whatever that would find this or find that or whatever. And it's not that I wasn't really inclined to hear everybody else's opinions on things, but it was more just, okay, I was thinking about this, so I wanted to seek that out. I went and found it, and then, okay, there you go.
People aren't patient.
True.
People don't have the patience for it anymore.
Yeah.
They need constant stimulation.
Right now.
And everything right now, right here, right now. And that's how things are. Like, that's how streaming services are with, like, Netflix and Hulu and a bunch of different stuff like that, you know. Like, everybody wants to, you know, watch a whole season at one time, you know. And that's just how things are. Like, everyone wants to know the literal minute something happens about anything.
Because they feel like they'll be left behind from everybody else, because then everybody else knows it and they don't, so they're out of the loop. Like you said, being
like
out of
it's
the
out
loop.
of the loop. And that to me was the hardest thing, because I was connected to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of people, and since my departure from really being on social media a lot, I wouldn't say I lost friendships, but I don't have close friendships like I used to, you know, with as many people as I do. I have good close friends that I talk to through text message. You know, maybe me and you text each other a couple times a day, once a day maybe, but like, you know, it's just not that important. Like, I would rather sit in front of that's one thing I realized. I would rather do what me and you are doing right now with somebody than just be stuck on social media and
talking through words on your phone.
Right. And another thing was a couple years ago, I had my 5-year high school reunion. I'm like, why would I even go to that? Why would I even go to that?
Right.
I know everybody that's had children. I know everything that's happening to everybody. Like, there's no, it's not like it used to be where you would just be like, oh man,
you use those things to catch up, and now you have it all. Which, you know, and like I said, it's not a bad thing, but there is just misuses of it, and there is very toxic ways that social media platforms and things like that have a connection.
Right. So I was going to run through this thing real quick. I found this article on Forbes. It was published last summer in June. It was 6 ways social media affects our mental health, and I won't go too much into detail, but I'll just mention the ones, and some of the ones we probably already talked about. It's addictive, right?
Yep.
We spoke about that. It's definitely addictive. They post specific stuff on there to make it even more addictive, and it just continues to be more addictive to people as the years go on. Like, they just find more and more ways to make social media addictive, so people continually are on their websites. And it
plays into the fact needing to know it right here, right now, out of boredom, because people sometimes are just bored and want to find something to do.
Right. It triggers more sadness and less well-being. Right. So if you're spending so much time on social media, you're probably not sleeping as much. You're sleeping as well. You're probably not exercising or taking care of yourself as well. Definitely been a problem for me. If I'm spending so much time on social media looking up stuff or doing whatever, I could be at the gym. I could be having an extra hour and a half of sleep. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely, and also it makes you sad. Like, if your life is not up to par with some other people, it makes you feel that way, I feel like.
Yeah.
And there's the next one. Comparing our lives with others is mentally unhealthy. Like, that's completely true.
Yep.
Like,
absolutely.
I definitely, and I wouldn't say
that goes along with the status thing. It goes along with, because the number one thing out of comparing and the comparisons is, well, that person is more successful than me, or that person looks better than me, or whatever the case may be. How about you just love yourself for who you are and you be unique instead of trying to be somebody else?
Right. Or what everybody wants you to be. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So it can lead to jealousy and a vicious cycle.
Absolutely.
So jealousy is
holy cow.
Yeah. You know. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody specifically or anything like that, but just women posting pictures of their body all the time,
right?
And then being like, man, I wish my body was like that, and then, you know, posting pictures of yourself, you know, selfies all the time, like, and then being like, man, this girl's makeup looks good, this girl's face is cuter, man, I need to put better makeup on it, like, I need to buy a better dress, I need to get better shoes, like, man, that stuff's silly, man. I just don't care about any of that stuff anymore.
Exactly.
We get caught up in the delusion of thinking it will help. So, like, I feel like I need to read that or that a little more for that explanation, but maybe it means social media will help us, not actually harm us. Which, I mean, if you want to stay connected with family,
true,
sure,
true,
sure, but, like, you know, that there's a help there. But most people are not using it like that. They're, you know, some people need an outlet to vent their frustration. Get it. Totally get it. Some of the stuff we're going to talk about on here is definitely going to be us venting our frustration. But, like, you know, it's just one of those things where if you're doing it all the time, it becomes a part of how addictive it is. You know what I mean? Like, you're always doing it, and you don't do something else like go for a run.
And I think that
You know what I mean?
what plays into that is everybody not taking back and looking at it from afar and realizing that that's the norm, that this is the norm, being on social media, having a this is one thing that always ticks me off is people will come to me like, hey, you got a Facebook? And be like, no. And they think I'm like a creeper or something. I'm like, so I'm weird because I don't have social media. I don't go on there. So I remember even Jarvis's girlfriend would be saying like, well, do you have a Facebook? And she's like, well, I mean, I know who you are, obviously, because I've gotten to know you as a person. But if I would look at that from the outside in, you don't have that. What are you trying to hide? What are you trying to? It's like, no, no, because I don't want to be on it because that's it's a toxic thing.
When you meet people for the first time, it used to be, oh, I had a good time with you, or you're a cool person. Can I get your phone number? Now it's, do you have a Facebook?
Yeah,
because then
got a Snapchat? I'll send you a snap.
Yeah, well, because then it becomes, I don't really have to talk to you.
Yes,
but I can keep up with you.
Right. I don't want to be honest with you, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go not be honest somewhere else and send it virtually, and then portray that there.
Right. I don't want to actually I don't want to talk to you, but if we're friends on Snapchat or we're friends on Facebook and I see something I like, maybe I'll comment.
But I'll talk to you in my other reality.
Yeah. But in real life, we would never go get a drink together or beer or go to a hockey game.
It's like those commercials. The commercials where they the honest way a situation would be handled or whatever. Yeah. They'd be sitting at dinner and be like, I'm probably never going to call you again. You know what? I probably wasn't going to call you either. Let's have a great night, or what, it'd be like one of those things.
Right.
And that's just, you can mask that with social media.
Right. And then actually that one goes right into what this next thing here. More friends on social media doesn't mean you have more friends or you're more social.
Exactly.
Like the way the world is virtual. Like, I know people that they're like, man, I know a bunch of people on social media. Oh, well, I don't ever go do anything to them. I don't have their phone numbers. We don't do anything together. We chat on occasion through virtually. Oh, I like your hair. It looks good. Oh yeah, thanks. Oh yeah, are you in town? Yeah, I'm in town, but I'm with my parents tonight eating dinner. Oh, well, that's nice. Like, I'm just like, that small talk is stupid. Like,
right.
Like I get it, but like people are like that sometimes. But it's meaningless to me. I don't want to have friendships like that.
Exactly.
Where I'm not, I'm not really doing something or talking to you really at all. Yeah, that was it. That was the last one. So I mean, that pretty much covers like how I feel about it, and that's why if anybody sees this that I'm friends with on Facebook, and I still have a Facebook, obviously, it's not because I don't want to generally talk to you or be friends with you. I just don't care. Like, I've gotten to the point where I care about my circle, the people that I'm really good friends with, my family. I don't care about your life. You know what I mean? Yep. Like
I don't care that you checked into Club Fitness 5 minutes ago and you're having a great set. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I just went to Baskin Robbins and had the greatest mint chocolate ice cream I've ever had in my life.
Right.
Do you care? Nope. I don't.
I don't either. I don't.
I don't
either. You know what I mean? And it's for me, and it's like, I would love to spark up conversations and talk to people about real things, but you know what I mean? I have to scroll through the BS.
Yeah. I would say as my last thing about this, if you're an avid social media user, whether it be Facebook or any other social media platforms, give yourself a week of just cutting it in half and see how much more you get done. Like, see how much more productive you are as a human being, because I guarantee it will elevate exponentially, because you just have more time to be with family, to be with friends, to go outside, enjoy the freaking world that you live in, instead of dwelling on some stupid thing, the virtual world.
Right.
Go see the real world, because it's pretty awesome, and enjoy that. But feel free to leave your comments and anything you guys have about that topic, because it is obviously a big key thing. We're obviously sitting on a social media platform right now, being YouTube, and discussing it.
We're not like I will say this before we end. We're not on here to create some kind of status or make people think we're a certain way or anything like that. No. We generally just want to talk about things that are interesting,
because we don't care. Yeah, we really don't care about those things. We just we want to gain that the community of people that have opinions, whether it be differing or similar,
right.
To be able to engage in those conversations and to be able to connect with people in that certain way. We're definitely not out here to portray ourselves as something that we're not.
Right. So, yeah, I mean,
for sure. So I think that's definitely a good hot button thing for sure. And leave your comments and your thoughts of what you guys think about how social media affects, you, how it may have negative or positive effect on you, and whether you agree with us or disagree with us. We'd really like to hear your guys' opinions on things for that, for sure.
All right, so
this is how this show is going to go.
This is how this show is going to go. Right before we got on here to do this, we sat upstairs and we were like, let's get some pizza.
Yeah.
We're like, we want to get some pizza. And then we were like, man, Domino's is cheap, but we're not really gay about it.
Nope,
that's what we said.
We're not.
We're not gay about Domino's.
My wife, she very much is so right now, but not.
But and then we were like, I don't know if this is everywhere, but we were like, man, we really like this place called Cecil Whitaker's,
which is not everywhere. It is a very local place. We live in St. Louis. We're from St. Louis, Missouri.
Right. Yep.
Very, very famous for St. Louis style pizza. We have, our Provel cheese, which we love so much, and it's the thin crust with the, things
it's like a cracker with cheese on it.
It is
wonderful.
A lot of people make fun of it being cracker cheese. It's amazing. But yeah, we have basically two really well-known St. Louis style chain restaurants, being one called Cecil Whitaker's and one called Emo's Pizza. Which if people have traveled through St. Louis, I'm sure they've probably heard Emo's more than anything.
Right.
But obviously, you have numerous chain, nationwide, worldwide.
So where did we end up going?
We went to what I would say is the most known nationwide and worldwide place, which is Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut.
It was fantastic. But we have this discussion. We want to have we have no idea what our answers are, to mind you here. I would say it's going to be kind of difficult because we do have viewers out there, because there's even other places. There's Chicago style places. I've been to Chicago and had some amazing pizza.
Papa Murphy's.
Yeah, for sure. There's Papa Murphy's, the Take and Bake, which is really taken off for sure. You have New York style pizza. I've not had the chance to we've had like our generic New York style pizza back when we had Saberos in the mall, but not authentic New York style.
Would we consider? Well, I mean, we're just talking about a pizza debate. What's the best pizza? Would we even consider a frozen pizza? Is there any frozen pizzas that are?
I would throw certain frozen pizzas above chain frozen or above chain regular restaurants. Really? I would, for sure, absolutely. There is one that people might know out there, which is I don't know if it's around besides anywhere here. TJ's Pizza. TJ's Pizza is fantastic. I don't know if you have the chance.
They serve those like around this area. They serve a lot of those in like bars and stuff.
They do, and they serve it like a lot of like Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. I think sell them because I remember getting them numerous times. But it's I think it's St. Louis style like cheese and things like that. But it's fantastic. I really dig it. But I would say it depends on the day for me. It really does usually depend on the day for me. I'm not a Domino's fan.
Yeah,
I am not a Domino's fan. I will say that straight up front. I know they changed recently to a lot of different things, but whatever. I'm a huge fan of Papa John's. I do like Papa John's. I know you have a personal connection with Papa John's for sure, being a former Papa John's pizza maker and delivery man.
I worked for Pizza Hut also.
You did. That is correct.
And Emo's as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about the Emo's days.
I floated around the pizza place.
I forgot about the Emo's days. I remember those. If I was to choose... Okay, here's this. Emo's or Cecil's? So this is a St. Louis discussion. For any St. Louis residents out there, this is a St. Louis discussion.
I'll make it quick on this one. I feel like I've had Emo's more than Cecil's. I'm going to say Emo's.
Ooh, man, I'm with Cecil's.
Really?
100% Cecil Whitaker's. Really? Absolutely.
You think it's like a sauce thing maybe? Because sometimes...
Their sauce is a little bit different.
It's a little different.
My thing is actually the prepper. I don't know if it's the one around here, but the Emo's we used to go to. Because I was the same way. When I was younger growing up, it used to always be Emo's. Mm-hmm. And then from, I would say, the last 10 years on, it's been mostly Cecil Whitaker's. I, think they have better deals. Because that's a key right there, people. Yeah. That is a key thing when it comes to pizza ordering and getting pizza is, what kind of deals can you get? Cecil Whitaker's has a great deal.
But here's the question.
How
does a deal taste?
The deal tastes so much sweeter.
Does it?
It tastes so much sweeter.
Does the pizza taste better because it's cheaper?
When I know one of the pizzas is free and I got it for free? Oh my God. That one tastes like a golden gauntlet of Thanos.
But that doesn't mean the actual pizza tastes better.
In my opinion, I prefer Cecil Whitaker's taste. You're one of those people. I prefer Cecil Whitaker's taste over Emo's. I'm not saying that the deal is the reason that makes the pizza better. I'm not saying that.
Okay. Because
the best deal, in my opinion, would be to go to somewhere like a Domino's, and I don't think.
I just feel like you're one of those people that are just at any restaurant. You're just like, this tastes so much better because it's free.
I'm not. I'm really not. But I would say that it is like, hey man, this is really cool that we got this deal when I could have went somewhere else and paid an extra $20 to get the same amount. I would say.
Okay.
I would say for that, because usually you get maybe an extra pizza or whatever the case may be. Cecil Whitaker's has an awesome deal.
Right.
On Tuesdays, that you can get. It's Fan Appreciation Day. We're showing our fatness today right now by showing how much knowledge, showing how much game we have on pizza.
That's our go-to when we have like just a night.
That is our go. If we just sitting here watching wrestling, we're like, oh, well, we just need to get some pizza. It used to be the Chinese place up the street before it gave me just diverticulitis. I don't know what it gave me. It killed me. I'm
just
done with
throwing
that
up
place
for 2 whole days.
If I could just shoot a blue rocket launcher from Fortnite at that freaking place, I would do it in a heartbeat. But yeah, I'm going Cecil's over Emos as far as St. Louis style goes. I'm going with that. Now, chain restaurants. So you have Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut.
Would you even consider like CC's or Pizza Street? I know we've had a fair amount
of time at the pizza streets. That is true. It might be CC's to anybody else out there. It's basically the buffet,
just the pizza buffet,
chain buffet pizza place.
I don't know how many.
I'm a fan of Pizza Street.
I like Pizza Street.
Well, you go in there and get all you can eat pizza for $5. I mean, you can't beat that.
I like their specialty pizzas though. Like I'm a big fan of the like potato pizza.
They have
macaroni
the
pizza.
most amazing cinnamon rolls I've ever had in my entire life. There, dude, legit at a Pizza Street buffet. They're fantastic.
Yeah. I agree.
Jarvis is the kind of person that can go from. I have this discussion all the time because he can go from eating salty, hot to something cold to back to something hot to sweet. He'll go from like pepperoni to sausage to apple to pepperoni to sausage to cherry. I'm just like to ice cream to some more meat pizza to a taco pizza, the macaroni and cheese pizza. Don't forget about the Alfredo pizza. And then he'll just have the order of all of the crusts in a row. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you?
Okay, people always give me trouble though because they're like, you're not gonna eat your crust, and I'm just like, well, I like to save more room for the actual pizza, and if I'm still hungry, I'll eat some of the crust. They're like, that's wasteful. I'm like, I don't care.
Well, technically, you're eating the 90% of the actual pizza, and you're saving the just a little extra part of it.
It's just bread.
I'm a crust fan. I am a crust fan.
I like crust, but I'm a sauce guy though.
I'm a sauce cheese guy too. Cheese is really important. But there is some really, I would say, higher end pizza places around here. I don't know if there's any Dewey's around where you guys are from. There's a Dewey's Pizza, which is fantastic.
I was gonna mention, I don't know how many of them around the world. I wouldn't say the world, but at least in the United States, the Casey's superstores, or what are they called?
Oh yeah, like the gas station pizza. Yeah, dude, there were some back in the day.
They had some good pizzas,
dude. Back in the day at I want to say it was Phillips. Back in the day, they had personal pan pizzas, dude. They were awesome. Little personal pan things you could get, which is pretty cool. I'm down for that for sure.
So I mean, I can give you the personal experience of the 3 chains that people always talk about. So you got Pizza Hut, you got Papa John's, and you got Domino's. Okay,
right.
So I worked at Pizza Hut and I worked at Papa John's. My current roommate works at Domino's. I do get Domino's from time to time. I'm not saying that I don't like it. I think I prefer their actual stuff like sandwiches and stuff there more than their actually pizza.
Which they really expanded their menu.
They expanded their menu. I actually think the Domino sandwiches are actually really good. But I worked at Papa John's for like 3 years. I was a driver and a manager. I made all kinds of pizzas there and then blah, blah, blah. I got to the point where I ate so much of it, I hated it.
Yeah.
So whenever I get it now, because I don't work there, I haven't worked there in years, I like it, but it's still just like.
But see, that's one of those things.
I think it's the actual crust that
you were talking about. But the thing that makes the crust the best is all their different dipping sauce choices. If you guys ever get the next time you get Papa John's, you guys need to give the cheese cup sauce a chance. Because I swear it's my favorite.
Are you a fan of the garlic cup? Because they put that with every pizza, and I feel like it's kind of overrated.
My wife loves it, and I think it's overrated.
Yeah.
I get the cheese cup. My dad got it one time, and I was like, dude, why are you getting cheese? I'm thinking it's like queso. Yeah. It's not. It's like an Italian like white cheese blended with like garlic flavor. It is the best dipping into bread like for crust and stuff like that.
Little Caesars.
Love it. Little Caesars is another one. I know you're not a big fan of Little Caesars. I personally, I'm going to say it flat out. I think they have the best chain deep dish pizza in the game. Their deep dish game is on point.
Okay, you know what? I actually agree with you because
for $8.
They're deep dish
and
pizzas.
they're huge.
They came out with that pizza recently with the one that had the bacon around all the way around it.
I wasn't a fan of that one.
It's pretty much the same thing. It just has bacon wrapped around it.
Right.
It's the same as deep dish, pretty much.
Right.
I do think their deep dish pizzas are good. But what I think is really, really good, I think they have really good cheese sticks.
Crazy Bread's good.
Crazy Bread, I think their actual dipping sauces are good as well.
They are good.
What is not good
They're hot and ready's.
are their hot and readies.
Here's what you do. You take a hot and ready. You don't eat it right when you get home. Throw it in the microwave for 20 seconds, and it makes it good. I'm telling you. Do that next time. Next time we doing it, that's it.
So you want it to be extra hot and ready.
That's right. That's how I do it.
You want
extra
it
cheese,
hot, bothered,
extra
and
meat,
ready.
Hot, bothered, ready. That's what my pizza chain's called. Hot, bothered, and ready.
I just feel like it's just like.
But it's convenient.
It is convenient.
You walk in and you get the pizza.
Okay.
You don't sit there for 25 minutes.
Okay.
Wait for pizza to be made, and it's a little bit better than a hot and ready pizza.
Is convenience? Does the convenience taste good?
You're taking back. Okay. You're using your own argument against yourself because you said that you would say Papa John's is really good, but you ate it so much you got tired of it. So that is
I still think it's good.
But that is that goes into the same category as convenience and price, in my opinion. I think if eating it because you worked there and you were able to get it so much, I think works itself into that same category.
So we'll say.
So here's the question:
pizza chain place. Then.
Pizza chain
Not
place.
Not just the pizza.
What's your pizza chain place? You got Pizza Hut, you got Domino's, you got Little Caesars, and you have Papa John's. What's your pizza chain that you're choosing?
Oh man, it's
the deals are out the door. No deals
because these are the chains.
Take your opinion on because you worked at Papa John's out of the way. Take your opinion because all of this, take it out the door.
Okay.
You got a pizza. You got to order it. You got to have it. What are you having?
I'm gonna say Papa John's.
That is what I say as well. So we agree on that. Mine is Papa John's as well. I feel like it's now. See, I know where you're talking about the crust, but like I said, it adds. If it was just a crust,
right?
I would not say that it's my favorite crust.
Yeah.
I would say the hand tossed crust from Pizza Hut is fantastic. The one we had tonight, we had hand tossed pizza. It was great.
And here's what I mean by the reason I like Papa John's the most at least, is for one specific reason. I think that they have the best sauce. I think the actual sauce is the best. Not only that, whenever I would get cheese sticks or in just breadsticks in general, I would go get a cup and I would just put the actual sauce we put on the pizzas in a cup and I would just and it was my favorite sauce. It was
what kind of pizza are you getting? Deathbed pizza. What are you getting? What's the toppings?
Okay, we'll just go hand tossed.
Okay.
Hand tossed crust, which I was really good at making hand tossed crust. And
I believe it. I've had some of his tossed crust.
Oh yeah. Okay.
As long as I don't have any of his salad.
Oh yeah, don't tell us the salad. Hey. Okay, so hand tossed. Right. I'm gonna go. Regular cheese, 2 cheese, 3 cheese. Okay, those are things.
They are.
They are the actual things.
They are.
I'm gonna go bacon and hamburger.
Ooh, hamburger, eh?
Yeah, I like hamburger pizzas.
I prefer my toppings of choice is pepperoni 1.
Yeah.
Here's top 5. Ready? Top 5 pepperoni or top 5 topping choices.
This is the fattest part of the show.
It is pepperoni. I'm going to go pork sausage because I'm not a fan of Italian sausage. I like pork sausage more.
Okay.
I have increasingly become a fan of bacon. You have increased my fan of bacon on pizzas. Strip bacon, not bacon bits. Are you a fan of ham on your pizzas?
I like ham and pineapple.
I like ham if it's a meat. If you guys have a Papa Murphy's near you, sweet baby Jesus, get the stuffed pizza. It's like 2 layers of crust, and they have I don't even know, an army full of meat in it, and it's ridiculous. It's so good for taking big.
While we're here, we need to have we need to only take this a minute long because I feel like it could go forever, and people in the comments are going to be like, pineapple, no pineapple. So
no pineapple.
No pineapple.
Get your pineapple out. No pineapple. Get it off. Get off of my pizza.
Really?
I will eat pineapple. I will eat pineapple by itself. I love pineapple. It's some of my favorite fruit to eat.
No go on pizza.
No, do not put it on my pizza.
You don't like it on pizza at all?
I have tried it and I do not like it on pizza.
Okay.
I'm not a fan because I don't like hot pineapple.
Okay.
I don't like hot pineapple. I like cold pineapple, regular fruit.
I get
in
you.
A fruit thing. I like that. I do not like hot pineapple.
It wouldn't be a pizza topping of choice. That wouldn't be where I would go first.
Right. But you would eat it if you had it.
Yeah, I like barbecue chicken with pineapple on it.
Yeah.
I like pineapple on ham with ham. I like pineapple and pepperoni.
What flavor of pizza that you have never had before, that you've never seen invented, would you want? So you have Alfredo, you have buffalo chicken, you have barbecue.
That was the thing when I was at Papa John's.
What flavor of pizza would you invent?
When I was at Papa John's, we did all kinds of stuff. We made all kinds of pizzas. I don't work there anymore. Can't fire me.
True.
We used like what's it? Bob's Sweet Bob. What's that, guys?
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Sweet Baby Ray's. There we go. Bob's.
I don't know.
That's barbecue sauce.
Country Bob's.
Country Bob's. There we go.
It is.
Sweet Baby Ray barbecue sauce. We've used Alfredo. I've used Thousand Island dressing. I've used.
I just have a Big Mac pizza.
Yeah. I've used. I actually put Nutella on a pizza once. Yeah, but I didn't put it on the pizza and then send it to the oven. I put it on after. I did do a pizza with it on it one time to try it, and it did not come out well.
I can imagine.
The one pizza that I would like to do, which I feel like could be hard because biscuits and pizza dough are different, but I think it'd be cool to do a biscuits and gravy pizza.
B Daddy J's got your pizza, dog.
He's got a
dude. He has made a pork sausage pizza, and then I swear to God, as soon as I started eating, I was like, "This tastes like a biscuits and gravy pizza."
That's one of the ones I was like.
It was good, and it wasn't intended to be that way.
Really?
Yeah, it was good. I honestly can't think of any flavors of things because I'm not a big fan of. I love buffalo and hot flavored things, but I don't like buffalo pizza because they normally put ranch.
I like ranch on pizza.
I can't stand any white sauces like that. I cannot stand it. Ranch, blue cheese. I'm sure we'll probably get into a lot more discussion about those type of things, but I can't stand it. I have increasingly become a fan of Alfredo, so I can do some Alfredo pizza for sure.
I've done queso.
I am a really big fan of the mac and cheese pizza.
I like mac and cheese pizza.
Pizza Street. It's a good.
I'm a big fan of mac and cheese.
Good stuff
by itself. So just add more carbs with it, you know.
Maybe do like a hot wing pizza. Like I'm sure that's invented, but you could do like pieces of actual like wings we had tonight or whatever.
Yeah.
And then do like buffalo sauce or something like that, and maybe I don't know. I guess you'd have to have something probably to contrast it. I personally don't ever need those kind of things, but
I will tell you this: for the most part, I like any pizza, but there are ones I would prefer over others.
True, and there is a lot of it. Usually, whenever it comes to, because we're in the area that we are, because we have two different really styles. You have the chain places you can go to. You have some of the other like little places. There's another place around here called Pantera's, which has some great pizza too, which is a kind of local place. But it's usually a St. Louis or traditional thing.
Right.
You know, that's the question that we always have. Well, do you want to go St. Louis style, or do you want to go? It's funny we call it St. Louis style, even though we're from St. Louis. It's like, do you want to go our style?
We have to.
You want to come our style?
Yeah.
You want to go that way, or do you want to go another way? It's
well, you do that with
way.
Chicago pizza as well.
Very true. Chicago style pizza is good, and I've been and had some legit Chicago style, and it's always Giordano's over Gino's East. I don't care any Chicago people that are out there. That's my preference.
So
for sure.
So to
in closing,
so the finish. If I'm gonna say chain, I'm gonna say Papa John's
for sure.
Everything as a whole, the pizzas, the sauces, and even the other side items, I would even say, even though it's not technically pizza stuff in general, but if we're going chains and we're going pizza places that were everything we like as a whole, I'd go Papa John's. If we're just talking pizza and we're not talking chains, I'm going to say Emo's.
Wow.
Emo's actually has a pizza that is probably my favorite pizza of all time, and it's called a sweet heat pizza, or they might call it something differently. It's like this tangy, sweet, like
sweet
buffalo.
Sour?
No, it's like this tangy sweet buffalo sauce, and it's like bacon, grilled chicken, and like pineapple, and it's just like the flavor with like the sauce is like an interesting. It's like a sweet heat sauce they use for their wings.
Yeah,
it's like a special sauce that they make just for wings. They use it as the base, and then they have strip bacon, and then they have grilled chicken. That's like probably my favorite. Probably my favorite pizza of all time.
We might have to get that next time.
Not everybody likes it. Not everyone's a huge fan of the sauce. So anytime I go to Emo's and I want that, I have to get it for myself.
There you go.
But that's what
that will conclude our pizza debate discussion. Please leave your guys' comments.
What'd you say? You said Papa John's, and then
I said Papa John's, and then I said Cecil's.
Cecil's, okay.
Cecil's. I'm Cecil's over Emo's. I used to be an Emo's guy. Now I'm Cecil's guy. So yeah, leave your comments as far as chain places. If you guys have any really, good pizza places around where you live, explain that or what they got or what kind of cool pizzas they have. So I'd like to hear your guys' discussion on that.
If we ever get to your town, city.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah, let us know. Like, hey, if you're coming through Portland, Oregon, come here. I doubt we'll ever go there, but if you got a cool pizza place, I'm sure we'll check it out.
Ernie's Oregon Pizza Hut.
Ernie's Oregon Pizza Chain Parlor.
Pizza Chain Parlor
Come get
store.
Your tires and nuts and bolts. Pepperoni pizza.
Real life.
Yeah. So our last topic for our weekly show, whatever main show you want to call it, is kind of a very it's more of a personal discussion type based thing. Being our first episode, the pilot episode for our weekly series and weekly shows, we kind of wanted to give you guys a little, insight if I could talk, a little insight into, a little more personal, idea of us and how we came together, and then kind of make it into a broader term, in a broader sense of how, the universe really tends to kind of bring people together, and it comes that way sometimes. It just kind of feels that way. So Jarvis and I would say we've been friends for, good Lord, I would say probably almost going on 10 years now. I would say it's probably been about 8 years or so.
Late 2010.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's about 8 years or so. And it came in just the most ridiculous circumstances,
Right.
Mostly all revolving around professional wrestling. We're obviously huge pro wrestling fans. For all of our Pro Wrestling Pulse and IWR show viewers, you guys obviously know that. I believe the first time that we ever ran into each other was when you were working at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I believe I came in and had a wrestling shirt on.
Were you doing the drive-thru? I think you came.
I did come to the drive-thru, but I think the very first time is I actually came in because I used to go out to my aunt and uncle's house because our washer and dryer at my dad's house was broke. So I used to go out there on the weekends or whatever and just kind of hang out with them and chit-chat or whatever with the fam. But there was always a McDonald's close by, and I would stop and get, this is before I would stop eating all the, like fast food restaurants and things like that. And we'd go, there and get some food or whatever and go chill. And I remember that he was working in there one time. And I came in, I believe it was a Christian Cage shirt. I still remember. It was a Christian Cage shirt that I was wearing. And just a simple mention was like, hey, that's a cool shirt, man. And you don't get a lot of people at that time being like, okay, that's kind of a different one. It's not like I was wearing a, friggin' Hulk Hogan shirt or something like that. It's so apparently obvious. Right. It's kind of a little deep cut for everybody with that one. But yeah, I made mention. I went back and I was talking to my uncle. I was like, oh man, this dude up at the McDonald's, we were mentioning my shirt. I was like, hey, he knew about TNA and he knew about Christian. I was like, that's kind of cool. And we just continued to run into each other in just the most ridiculous circumstances. Yep. I guess not so ridiculous, but in the most crazy circumstances of continuing to tie us together somehow. And I remember there was another time where we met at a wrestling show. At a wrestling show, multiple wrestling shows. There was a Ring of Honor show one time, a TNA show another time. And then finally, I think we met at a Slackers. And so we're talking 4 times down the road, and this is over a span of...
And we stopped and chatted for a second.
Each time.
You ran into me multiple times at McDonald's when I was working
multiple
there,
times. Because we would talk in the drive-up about wrestling.
Yeah, we in the drive-thru, we'd be just chatting about wrestling, and then there'd be people behind us, and I'd be like, I guess I gotta let you go, man.
Yeah, right. And there was times where I would go, because these are all the times when I would go over to my uncle's house, and I would sit there and I'd be like, man, this guy knows a lot about wrestling. He's literally just like us. We just sit and talk about wrestling and stuff like that. I was like, it'd be so crazy if, we ended up hanging out one time and start doing videos and start talking about wrestling or whatever. And I legitimately remember saying that because me and my uncle at the time were talking, about starting something up like that. So we thought it'd be really, really interesting. So again, we met at another wrestling show, and this is months down the road. Another show months down the road. And still, we just didn't realize that it's something is tying us together here. Something is really seeming like it's okay, we should probably be friends or something, at least hang out. Yep. Finally, we ran into each other at a Slackers.
Changed numbers,
again. And then we were like, dude, we keep running into each other. I mean, we're going to just continue to do that. We might as well just share the experiences together. So finally, I was like, hey, man, we always, watch pay-per-views and stuff like that, have friends and family over. And if you ever want to come out one time and just, sit and chat and watch it, we usually have a lot of fun. And I think it kind of started from there. And then we started... hanging out and watching shows together and, just...
Giving our Mystery Science Theater...
Exactly.
Did I say it right?
Mystery Science Theater. You
3000 commentary on wrestling shows.
Because then it started to just realize that our sense of humor and our likes and how we are just personality-wise is just clicking on every single other level. And it really... I believe that's only happened to me on 2 other occasions. The one occasion was with my wife. I mean, granted, we were working together. And the other occasion was with my other best friend, Eric Quaddy, from the Pro Wrestling Pulse or the IWR show. Same kind of ways. We just continue to run into each other. And it's just like, what is going on here? Like, this is just crazy. And it just continues to run into people and things like that. And the relationship kind of takes off from there. So from then on out, we started the IWR show up with Quad and Truth and Jarvis and myself, and started that up and started doing our videos. And we started that, I think, around 2010, 2011. It seems like it was yesterday. I mean, it's just crazy how fast time goes. And continued off from there. We started to go, see movies, and we started to check out wrestling shows, and we go to all the shows together. Anything that ever came through town, or even, now this past year or just past month, going to WrestleMania down in New Orleans, finally got to take him to one, being my fifth one that I went to. So doing all the different shows, going check out movies, watching shows together, and just having, the discussions of how our lives are very, very, very connected. His birthday is literally, I think, 2 weeks after my birthday. My other friend's birthday is a week before my birthday. So it's like all of us are like intertwined, like very, very similar.
Same year. Yep.
Same year, all born the exact same year. So it's just really interesting how all those things kind of like pull you together. And it feels very like,
didn't go to high school together.
To be true. Didn't go to high school. No,
didn't live in the same town.
Nope.
We lived in the same state, but
not really close in counties either. Like not like within
30 minutes away from
not
each
within
other,
distance
almost.
of each other. Unlike my wife, who literally, when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, when I was playing baseball, would literally hang out next door to where my wife lived with a buddy that I used to play baseball with. And I'm sure I played with my wife in the backyard of her house when I was like 10 years old and had no clue. I mean, just crazy how things like that interacted and how the world, puts you to where you're supposed to belong. It's just very interesting.
Yeah, and it goes that way too. And it kind of seems hokey, but like I feel like some people, like how me and you connected and we're still friends, and like we're meant to. I feel like it's like meant to be as a friendship, to a degree. I also believe that maybe sometimes the universe pulls you together in relationships with people or friendships just so you can learn a lesson.
Yeah.
Just so you can learn a lesson. You get real close to somebody, they do something shitty to you, or they do something that, makes you realize something about yourself, or makes you think about things, and then sometimes you carry on the friendship way too long because, you genuinely care about a person, or you do have a connection, you think you have a connection, and then it comes to the point where all of a sudden it just feels like, instead of things pulling us together like me and you, it feels like no matter what, everything's pulling us apart. Everything, people are going in opposite directions. Someone's going here, you're going this way. You're trying to do this thing. This person's trying to do that thing. You try to maintain a friendship, and then slowly, when it comes to not just, I wouldn't even say just with friends, I would say family members too sometimes.
True.
Where it's just like, it goes from maybe a text every day, just seeing what's up, to text once a week, to text once a month, to hey, how you doing every couple of months, hey, what's going on, and a lot of that also, I guess, feels like, people moving away, people going to different states, relationships ending with people, or new relationships starting, dating and stuff as well. So it's interesting how, a lot of that stuff happens, and sometimes good relationships fall in your lap, and sometimes bad relationships fall in your lap. Sometimes the right people will stay, or the right people will be around, and then people will pull apart on purpose. I've had this philosophy, I would probably say at least for the last year. If people don't want to be in your life, don't be in theirs. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a two-way street with relationships, obviously. In friendships, definitely, where it's like, if I'm trying to get a hold of you and see if you want to do stuff all the time, and you're kind of, like saying, oh, well, maybe next week, and then, you skip out once or something, and then we start hanging out again or whatever. Like, that's one thing, but like, I'm not trying to be bitter or anything, but when you're friends with somebody, and, sometimes the level of friendship you're on with them.
Right.
Sometimes it's like, is this just a person I chat with, through Snapchat, or I text on occasion? Is this a person that I go do things with, that I and genuinely enjoy doing things with.
Right.
And sometimes I feel like as human beings, you start to get a vibe and a feeling, or just the chemistry of the situation is off with someone or something like that. And then you're not sure, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh man, I don't know. Like, and then you deep down know that like maybe you shouldn't be in this relationship or be the friends with these people anymore. And like, you have to make that decision. You're like, man, you know, it's telling me no, but it's like your heart and your brain fighting sometimes.
Right.
But sometimes when you're being pulled like that, the best thing, instead of letting it, you know, overthink about it, is just letting the universe pull you, you know,
or take you to where you're meant to be.
Yeah, take you where you're meant to be.
Because that's one thing that I was going to mention is like Jarvis was talking about with, you know, just letting things happen organically. Yeah. You know, letting the relationships, you know, flourish if they're going to, and if they're not going to, and it's going to be toxic or it's not going to work out, then just get rid of it in your life. Mm-hmm. You know, there was a lot of guys that I used to hang out with in middle school and high school, even elementary school, and just completely had to get rid of that the things that they were going to do, the things that the road that they were going to take, and you know, the route that they were taking with their lives was not the one that I wanted to take it down. And to me, saving myself and being true to myself and going the route that I knew I needed to go was worth getting rid of those friendships, and was worth, you know, taking a lot of great years and great memories, you know, and kind of flushing it down the toilet a little bit. But I knew it was going to be best for me in the long run.
Yeah.
And that is crucial to be able to realize that it's hard. It's really, really hard because it's different too, because, you know, in that group of friends that I have, I wasn't like the, you know, the in kid of the one. I was kind of like, I was buddies with one guy, and then he was friends with him, and then they kind of got in this whole group, and I was cool with everybody, and then they started doing things that I just wasn't about. Yeah. And they started going down a path that I knew was going to not be good for me. And I knew the best route for me was to just extract myself out of that situation. And it meant losing a lot of friends, and it meant losing, you know, a lot of those connections that I had with a lot of people. But I was lucky enough to find, you know, the two best friends that I could possibly find that are like brothers to me now. And that's what I said even at my wedding. I said, you know, I may not have a lot of friends, but I have acquired new family. And that's how I felt with the people that are closest to me. I don't treat them like they're friends. I treat them like they're my family. And I think that's the value of the hierarchy of relationships. When you have people you can talk to and associate with, you know, that's cool. When you literally gain relationships that just feel like they become family, that's something really, really special.
Right.
And that is worth losing a couple friends that you used to have to gaining, you know, those relationships that you're going to have for the rest of your life.
Right. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I've had fly by night type of friends. I've had those kind of relationships where I, you know, I connected with them on a certain level, but at the end of the day, if I really needed them for something, would they be there? You know, it's like if I really needed them.
And if it's something you have to question, then you know it's not true.
Right,
you know it's not that kind of relationship.
And I definitely, the closest friends I have, the people I talk to almost every day, you know, those are the people that I would lean on for something, and right. they know that if they needed something, I'd be there to, you know, to help them as well. So it's just one of those situations. It's like that, and pushing and pulling, you know, I know you and me are the same way when it comes to overthinking situations and things and stuff sometimes, you know, and instead of just kind of laying back and
try putting a show like this together with two minds that overthink.
Yeah,
that's what takes
true.
You 6 months to get this prepared and ready.
That's pretty true. Yeah, I mean, it's a situation where I've learned to let things happen, let things unfold as they be. Don't force things to happen. Let things be organic. You know, there's a lot of things like that happening in the world where things just are forced. Relationships are forced. You know, like I said, friendships, just anything, like just things that you see every single day. You know, they feel not organic. And to me, trying to be the the kind of person that, and it even goes back to some of the social media stuff we were talking about. It's about living the most authentic life, most authentic version of yourself you can.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't try to do something specific to make someone like you or anything like that. Don't act a certain way. Just be yourself. Do the things you want to do. The right people will be around. The right people will stick around. There's definitely going to be people out there that, will take advantage of you if you're a kind person,
right,
and all that. But just be alert of those things and just let the universe do its job and take you to the position you need to be. Like I definitely spent a period of time for spurts over the last 5 years where there'd be a period of time. I wouldn't say I'd be depressed or anything, but I'd just be like, just kind of like thinking about how people thought of, like, what they thought of me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, do people think I'm a bad person? Do people think that I'm this or that or whatever? And at the end of the day, I think you as a person, if you think about those things, you are thinking about those things more than other people that you're worried about.
And you know the truth of what it is.
Right.
You know how good of a person you are. You know what you did. If you did something wrong,
people make mistakes. They,
sure.
you live and you learn and you do things. But like, I just feel like letting the universe draw you to where you need to be and just letting things unfold naturally. If you're supposed to be where you're supposed to be, things will work out the way they're supposed to. I've been in situations where I've lost jobs, been fired from jobs, and I just was like, man, I really need that job. What am I going to do? And then I would, do a job where I was like, man, I don't like this. But then I learned a lesson from it,
Yep.
and take that as it be to where it be like, I'm grateful for the type of job that I have now, where I can do the things that I do now. But you just learn those lessons, and you're riding a roller coaster. It's ups and downs, and things like that'll happen, and
you gotta take it as it is, and you gotta just do what's best for you, do what you know what's right, and and just let the world take you where you're supposed to go. But like you said, just don't take it, don't force anything, don't do anything that doesn't feel right. If your gut's telling you something, go with it. We're not trying to just preach how you should live your lives here, but we're just saying as us and how our experiences have gone, mm-hmm. and we've seen, we've tried to, everybody I think has tried to put themselves into a situation that deep down inside is not who you are.
Yeah.
That's like, this isn't me. This isn't right. Who I am. And you use those, some people are still stuck with that. Some people that's how they're going to be their whole lives. And that's what they feel like their goal is. Their goal is to keep climbing that never-ending mountain. And that's what it feels like. It has to feel like to them, is that you're never going to stop climbing. And sometimes you just need to stop and set up camp and be cool with where you're at on that mountain, which a lot of people aren't. And I think both me and Jarvis have settled on our side of the mountain just fine, and we're cool with with how life is throwing things at us, because I couldn't be happier in the position that I'm in with the people that are around me and the loved ones and friends and family and things like that. All of the bad things that have happened, all of the things that have felt negative, and at the time, just felt like nothing can go right. Things will turn around, and things always can turn around.
Right.
And I think that goes back to our first topic with even social media and the people that are out there that think that everybody's against them and everything is, looking downward and dark things are above you and dark skies are above you. It's not that way. It just is not that way. There are people that love you regardless of how you feel. There's people that care about you regardless of how you feel, and the people that are against you, are just weak. They're just weak-minded people, and they're using their own insecurities that you even think that you have. I think it's a good a bookend to both of our topics that started the show here. But
just let the universe do its job.
That's right, man, and just see where the cards fall, see where the things see where everything lands, and just kind of go with it. But yeah, this is going to wrap up our pilot episode, our number one Dead Pulse Theory episode with the 3 topics. This is kind of going to be what it's like going forward. It's going to be just 3 kind of random thrown together topics. If there's something big that's out there in the world that, that's probably something that looks like noteworthy, then I'm sure we'll probably...
We say it right.
Culturally relevant. There we go. I got it out there. And also, we want to hear your guys' feedback on all of these topics, all your guys' thoughts on everything. If you guys like how this show is formatted, if you have any questions or concerns or anything that you think we should do differently or anything like that, we're totally open to interpretation. Sure. Man. We can kind of make it our own and kind of go with how we want to make this show. But we definitely want to hear your guys' input and your guys' opinion. But for us, this is how we kind of rolled it. And man, did this feel fresh. It felt so fun to do something like this and break off with different topics that we're not used to talking about, unlike what we did in the past. But like I said, probably going to be like a midweek upload. I hope that wasn't really loud when I hit that mic. A midweek upload, usually around Wednesdays, I think is what we're aiming for. Probably Wednesday evenings, like 8 or 9-ish. Hopefully I could get it up by then. So look for videos around that time. And it's going to be a weekly thing, man. We're going to be pumping these out for you guys. And if you like the content, if you want to see any other episodes, we've talked about other ones. We might do some like top 10 episodes. I'm sure we'll do some reviews of some things when we see new movies and things like that. If we want to get on here and talk about it, we'll probably come on here and talk about that. So I mean, any other things you guys suggest or would think would be cool for us to do, give us your feedback and your input, because we're definitely all about that for sure. But if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, and if you guys really like what we got going on, be sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel. Like I said, we're going to be pumping a lot of material out for you guys, and be sure to leave your comments because we do want to hear your feedback. But for Jarvis, I am J-Man, and this is the wrapping up of our first not inaugural, that's yearly. I knew I would want to say that. I was going to caught saying that. Our pilot Dead Pulse Theory episode. Until next time, we'll see. This guy. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.